Good morning, it is Jane with Scraptastic and it's time for Movie and Stitch. Now, I had chosen a U movie, and I will be honest with you, I was on Netflix and I thought I was watching a movie, but it's actually a series. But I found it very interesting, and it is called The Umbrella Academy. Now, this is an American superhero television series based on the comic book series, the same name, by Gerard Way, created for Netflix by Steve Blackman, and developed by Jeremy Slater. It revolves around a dysfunctional family of adopted sibling superheroes who reunite to solve the mystery of their father's death and the threat of an imminent apocalypse. The series is produced by Borderline Entertainment, Dark Horse Entertainment, and Universal Cable Productions. The cast features Elliot Page, Tom Hopper, David Castaneda, River Lampman, it's a hard name to say, Emmy Raver Lampman, Robert Sheehan, Aidan Gallagher, Cameron Britton, Mary J. Blige, John Magaro, Adam Godley, Calm Fiore, Justin H. Min, Ritu Araya, Youssef Gatewood, Marin Ireland, and Kate Walsh. Now, it started as a film that was optioned by Universal Pictures in 2011, and it was shelved. That movie was shelved in favor of this television series, and the series is filmed in Toronto and Hamilton, Ontario. Now, I found this, it is fairly dark series, but even the very first, and I just watched the first one, but I know I'll be going back to watch future seasons, future videos. It shows the father has passed away. You're introduced to these superheroes, and basically the premise is one day, on the same day, women around the world who were not pregnant became pregnant and delivered babies. And these babies had superpowers. So this is a very rich, eccentric scientist man who goes and adopts 7 of those children for a price. He pays to get these children. So that starts out the premise. So it's very interesting. It starts in a Russian swim meet. You know, you see that scene and then you're like, what? Huh? But it's rather interesting, the interaction between the characters. There's a lot of animosity between some of them. You know, they fight like regular siblings. They're not really related other than they were all adopted by this billionaire. So I found it rather interesting. I'm enjoying it, and I will be watching more of it. Now, the movie that my husband happened to have on, and it's not the movie I chose to watch, was Up, which, I don't know about you, but I find that when I'm watching these movies that I really need to pay attention, because each time there's something new that you see in the movies. And Up is a 2009 film. It is a computer animated film directed by Pete Docter, co-written by Bob Peterson, and it has the voices of Ed Asner, Christopher Plummer, Jordan Nagai, and Bob Peterson. And it centers around an elderly widower, Carl Fredrickson, and a wilderness explorer, Russell, who go on a journey to South America in order to fulfill a promise that Carl made to his late wife, Ellie. Along the way, they meet a talking dog named Doug and encounter a giant bird named Kevin, who is being hunted by the explorer, Charles Muntz. So, I just love this movie. It's one of my favorites. It's very up. It's aptly named, although the original title was Helium's. But it's a great movie, and it basically revolves around Carl and his wife making plans to do a trip. And she dies. The wife dies shortly after Carl has arranged for this trip. But what they're finding is it's a trip to Paradise Falls. And they find that they're constantly having to spend their money on more urgent needs. So now Carl is stubbornly holding out in the home while the neighborhood around him is being replaced by skyscrapers. And Carl accidentally strikes a construction worker during a mishap. The court deems him a public menace and require his relocation to assisted living facility. However, Carl has decided he's going to keep Ellie's promise, turning his house into a makeshift airship using thousands of helium balloons and flying away. Now, Russell is someone who visits Carl because he's trying to win a merit badge for assisting the elderly, and he comes an accidental stowaway. So, you know, this movie is just the adventures that they go through and how they build a relationship, and they find there is something worth living later on for Carl. So it's a great movie. That's not the movie I chose. The movie I chose was Unhinged. Wow, it was a great movie. Unhinged is a 2020 American action thriller film directed by Derek Borte from a screenplay by Carl Ellsworth. The film stars Russell Crowe, Karen Pistorius, Gabriel Bateman, Jimmy Simpson, and Austin P. McKenzie. It tells the story of a young woman who is being terrorized by a seemingly mentally ill stranger following a road rage incident. Now, this movie started out on a rainy night with Russell Crowe, who is Tom Cooper, parked outside of his ex-wife's house. He removes his wedding ring, lights a match, stares blankly at it, and a bottle of hydrocodone. He grabs a hammer and a tank of gasoline and proceeds to break into the house, killing her and her boyfriend, setting the house on fire, and it explodes as he drives away expressionless. Now, the following morning, Rachel Flynn, a newly divorced single mother, drives her son Kyle to school during rush hour traffic. She's running late. One of her clients fires her over the phone. Tom Cooper's truck is sitting at a light. It's green. She honks at him because it's blocking traffic. But soon he catches up to her and tries to apologize, then asks for an apology in return, saying he wants to hit reset and that people should apologize for anything they do wrong. The exchange escalates as Rachel tells him she doesn't have anything to apologize for. So, Tom promises to teach her a lesson. What it means to have a bad day. So at the end of the road, he drives in front of Rachel and stops, and then drives away. Then she calls her friend, Andy, who is also her divorce lawyer, and arranges to meet him at a diner. Tom somehow tracks Rachel to the gas station, switches his phone with hers while she's inside paying for her gas. She sees him outside and she's starting to get a little rankled and that kind of stuff. And there's a customer who walks her back to the car, helps her finish getting the gas, and then basically tells her, gets the license plate of this car. But then Tom rams him with his truck and kills him. It's a very interesting interchange. So Tom is doing all these kinds of things, and during the time she is driving to meet her friend, he calls her on his phone. He drives up to her, shows her that he has her phone, points to her, tells her to pick up the phone. He calls her, and he proceeds to tell her what he's going to do to her family members and her friends, and that she has to choose one of them to die. So, in a desperate move, she chooses her client that had just fired her, but he doesn't go after the client. And it is a fairly violent movie. Now, I will say I was rather shocked to see Russell Crowe overweight in this movie. He was extremely overweight in this movie. But it added to the character. He played it well. He does this expressionless face so well. He is totally unhinged in this movie. And it goes on to show some other rather violent scenes. People being killed, being harmed. You know, those kind of things. And he is tracking her the entire time. And it shows a lot of scenes where someone who has total disregard for life at this point manages to incur a lot of damage to a lot of other people. Now, the ending, you know, I could have predicted the ending, but not exactly the way it happens. There's a line about giving a gentle tap at the very beginning of the movie that comes in at the end of the movie. So it was an excellent movie. Rachel is fearing for her life and her child's life. She's doing everything she can to save the people that she loves and surrounds her from this maniac. And final scene was absolutely incredible. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I give it 5 stars because it was truly a thriller. Had a lot of action. Yes, it did have violence and some gratuitous violence in it. However, this shows what happens to people when we no longer care about one another. We become more self-absorbed about ourselves, and we don't show kindness to one another. So, yeah, the ending shows another instant and a new choice being made, which is an excellent choice. So, I will tell you, I have had things that have happened where people, you know, they cut in front of you, and they really almost cut you off, almost hit you. And, you know, my first reaction is anger. And then lately, my second reaction has been, there may be something going on in their life where they're rushing somewhere for a reason. So to give them a little, instead of flip them the bird, you know, yell at them, give them dirty looks, has been just to say a silent prayer for those people. So, like I said, it was an excellent movie. I enjoyed it. I recommend it. 5 stars out of 5. Excellent. What did I work on? I worked on my 3-color challenge. I have not had opportunities to work on this like I wanted to, so I needed to find a way to get it done, basically. So I am working on that this week in between sewing some things and doing some other things. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. I think my V movie is going to be Vivarium, but I am not positive. I need to go look at it, you know, read up about it a little bit. Other than that, I have no idea what I'm going to watch for my V movie. So, anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get a chance to watch this movie if you're not afraid of a little violence. But yeah, it was a good movie. Alright, remember, choose kindness, especially on the road. Let's avoid some road rage. Bye.